Welcome to the show. We're going to have a few conversations in a few minutes. This is Pet Power Exchange Together. I am joined by the one, the only M, making their triumphant return to our programs after summer plans got in the way of being here for a couple of them. They have returned. We'll have their wisdom and knowledge and comment reading.
Yeah, hi guys.
And before we get started, so we're going to warm up the show, let everyone get in, take their seats, as it were. We just want to talk about the fact that education is one of the most important things. It is a fundamental, honestly, cornerstone of everything I do, consent-driven and beyond. We're excited that you are all joining us tonight. We are happy to have you here. We are just setting some things up and waiting for everyone to kind of show up right now. And we're going to get it so Em can see the comments and monitor it. We're going to get TikTok up on the YouTube. We are streaming on both at the moment. And there we go. We finally fixed that pesky machine. Uh-oh.
Can't see. Must be lagged.
No, it flipped on me. There we go. There it is. Okay. Hello. Okay, you're watching me there. We're going to lower this just a bit. That looks like a better angle. Hello, everybody. All right, let's share some screens, shall we? So no one's got to deal with me. We're putting in the entrance in the comments so anyone can join us. And we're going to put in TikTok right now so you guys can see that as well. And oops.
Hello, my name is Mr. Anderson.
We're going back now. Why is it not showing that we're live on TikTok yet? I hate when TikTok does that. I'm trying to see if yours had said that we were live. There it is. It just went out. So make sure that you guys have.
There it is.
It just went out.
So make sure that you guys have.
Hold on. There we go. Have your controls set to notify. TikTok had recently changed that and made it weird. There we go. So now we can read all the comments. There we are. We're getting some people coming in. Hello. We're going to be talking about the subject of boundaries versus limits. And we have everything going. We had a little bit of trouble getting this done. Got you loud and clear. Says, how would I pronounce that right?
I cannot see it because it hasn't loaded on here yet.
Oh, you're a few seconds behind, right?
Yeah.
There it goes.
Theodorus.
Is it Theodorus? Theodorus is joining us. How you doing, Theodorus?
Should I join on TikTok?
If you'd like. It's going to have the same delay as that, though.
But you're not going to have this part pulled up on YouTube.
Yeah.
Oh, you are?
For the most part, yeah.
Interesting way to do it.
I'm bringing all the audiences together. We're going to have one visual display at a point, and we'll just go back and catch up. Theo is good. All right, Theo. I dig that. And then Em's thinking, what is he talking about? You'll see it in a second. I could always put you in the StreamYard so you could see it at the same time I'm seeing everything if you'd like.
We already have it set up this way.
No, it'd be quick.
Theo says Theo is good.
No, I know. That's what I just said to you.
Oh.
You weren't listening.
Okay, let me just do it on TikTok and later we can do it.
No, I can do it real quick while we're waiting. We're waiting for some people to come in. So right now it's how do you enlarge every screen? You're one of those full screen.
Oh no.
Well, I needed to reload it anyway because it wasn't showing my comment. Why is it not showing my comment? Probably my own thing. I don't know. How do you do this? Why? Why would you make it a
Because I
full
need
screen?
to see everything. I need to see it in 4K.
Apparently, like, this isn't even in 4K. Alright, this should go. So, you'll be behind the scenes. You're going to just enter the studio.
You can't see me when I get on.
No, not unless you turn your camera on. So your camera's off.
So stop. No, it says.
You're not on. You're not on. Chill.
Yes, I am.
No, I have to add you to stage. Girl. Everything's off.
Okay.
This is what you see. You see this down here? That's you. Blank thing.
Okay.
So I turned everything off, and because you can't be in twice, you're just in the background.
Okay.
So now you'll see everything live. Sorry about that. We're just figuring this out. And is one of the people who does not want their identity public, and that's perfectly fine. So we're going to do everything we can together to make sure that they're not exposed to the audience. So do not hit the camera or the mute
Okay,
mic.
but should I get rid of the...
You can do it everything when you want now. Yeah. And you can make it as big as you want. That's your screen now. So have fun. Yeah. I just gave you
Isn't that
everything.
so much better?
It is, but I never make them full because it's always hard to pull out later. All right.
Said they joined because of your Pet Life post.
I appreciate that. And if you want to put it up, you can put it up. Just go to it. We're going to teach Em real quick. Go to the comment and just click on it.
Okay, cool.
No, click on it
Well,
so the world can see it.
The world can see that.
Click on it. Brats.
Okay.
See what I'm working with? All right, so we do have a display. I'm hoping Alice gets to join us as well. We put out the word. We didn't know last week that we were going to do this, and Em was like, well, I'm down to do a show. And things went well with school. There were no problems with that. And we're having weather issues potentially next week. So we figured, screw it, let's do this. And we are here, we are live, and we are ready. If you guys are ready, if you want to jump on YouTube, Kink Educator, hop on board. You can be a guest. Remember, your voices we're getting to the point where you're going to be able to be tracked by your voice eventually. That's if you're doing videos. If you never do videos in your voice on here where your face is, you'll be fine. Like someone like Em, who's not on social media much, and I don't blame Em. Social media stinks most days, says the guy on social media on 2 platforms right now. So we're pretty excited about today. I think we're just going to go for it now. Hopefully Alice can join us. And I'm going to share this right now with all the cool people, and then we're on our way. All right, it is shared. We are going to go. That's just me sharing it. No, that was literally just me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, and everyone in between, because I'm sure that I'd miss something, so I figure everyone in between is respectful. That's me, Birdie. What is up? So, you guys ready to learn why you've all been doing limits wrong and how to control boundaries? I have a skeptic in the audience already.
No.
A skeptic.
I don't know if I can go that far, but.
Okay. So we're going to explain it, and then I see Theo, you want to be on. That's perfectly fine with me. But let me just do the presentation, and then we'll bring you on so we can all be talking about the same things. And we're going to quickly do an image.
You are a little bit off frame. I don't know if you want to turn the camera.
If I do that, we get that weird negative space. If I do this, I mean, I could move this way a bit, but then I'm off that way. Am I framing the shot better?
Yes.
Okay, there we go. Got to frame it. Got to frame it.
Yeah, you do have to.
All right. I'll bring you a little closer. There it goes. Too close. Too close. Boundaries. All right, here we go.
It says, I'm excited StreamYard to not create a sound echo.
Yeah, it's always nice. That's why we came over here. It's horrible when we're live and we have. Oh no, you don't have to exit StreamYard. You can be here. You won't cause anything. StreamYard has noise canceling stuff. It's pretty awesome. All right, so here's our topic: boundaries versus limits. Em is already not liking the artistic value of it, but wait, there's an explanation for even every color that's been chosen.
Okay.
We made this the other night. So tonight's topic is boundaries versus limits. So I said that you're using limits wrong. All that will be go over, but let's start off with the really basic. A boundary should be everything within your boundaries is consent, and it should be, of course, informed. Boundaries of consent. I didn't put informed consent because I shouldn't have to say informed by now, but that's what they are. Informed moments of consent with you and your partner. We use diaper, of course. Did I ask permission? Extensively the representation, and only when you get the thumbs up do you go for it and ask for consent. Now remember, one of the things about consent that Alice would remind us of, and I want to make sure that everyone hears me when I say this, if you're the submissive, your top should be asking you to repeat all the risks of the play to make sure you are listening, because that is your responsibility. You need to be, as M likes, rack, risk aware, consensual kink. So you want to make sure that you're rack compliant. And Bertie said, when should you set these in a dynamic? I'll answer that after we explain this. So this is based on the fact that you've built a dynamic. Right away, out the door, here we are. You have built your dynamic. Your dynamic is the boundary. So the minute you create a dynamic, you've already put up a boundary. Now you get to choose what lives within the boundaries. Look at it as a property that you own. And the circle, the black edge of the circle, that's the fencing you put up to keep all the non-consented things out of your dynamic. So all the no's here, notice they're red and dark red. That's because no is the red light. We have the center of the circle being green because that's green light. This goes back to us using the color code system in BDSM, the red light, green light system. So now what's the difference between a boundary and a limit? Well, let's start with boundaries. Boundaries are play stops here. So in other words, if you call something a boundary, it is outside of the boundary of consent. For me, I would choose being dressed up as a woman is not something I'm willing to do. As cute as I might look, it's just not in my bingo card. I don't think I'd look good in heels. I'm too lazy. Today,
I don't know.
Today,
You found the right heel.
the right heels.
Yeah.
I tripped over air 3 times today. I
can attest to that.
There was a witness. It was really embarrassingly bad. Like, I think one of the worst since I was an infant. I don't think I do good in heels. So I would say, well, that's a boundary for me. So that goes on the fence and beyond it. Because we talked about it. It goes directly on the fence because that's how you're building your boundary with the things that are no's as well. But anything we didn't talk about, remember, is a no. The things that are yes, for me, edge play. There's a lot of edge play that gets thrown in. I love having BDSM, the dynamic behind it, the power exchange, which we're at P.E.T today, power exchange together. So I'm very into that aspect of this. And I am someone who's a huge fan of rope. And remember, I'm on TikTok here, so I'm playing with the wording just to make sure we don't overstep. So if you want to join us for an after the conversation, please do. We'll be on YouTube where we can actually talk. The after show will be a lot more just straight verbal ability to say what we mean. But for now, I'm going to have to play a little bit of a word game. So those are the things that would be inside of it that I've had consented. Now, what's blanket consent?
Blanket consent is when you consent to everything under a blanket.
Yeah, it's the basic idea. I left the towel here just for this moment, believe it or not. So everything that goes under the blanket becomes consent. I am consented to.
What could be the blanket, though?
The blanket is...
Give us an example.
Of the blanket itself, like metaphorically? Or...
Yeah, because you can give blanket consent for a specific activity, right?
Yeah, but you also, when you put in that blanket consent, you can put a usage clause on it. So you might have blanket consent to spank me in private. Mm-hmm. You have blanket consent to choke me in private. Don't think you have to just put it in without circumstances or stipulations attached to it. That's not what blanket consent is. Some people, if you've heard it, call it. Some people will call it CNC. I don't think. While I agree, CNC should be role play. I don't think it just being blanket consent is that. I know some people will talk about a breeding kink. Sure, that's a valid one that I guess you could do blanket consent for. But for me, it's more about, I can punish you when I want for the dynamic, the power exchange together. What are the punishments I'm allowed to do even in public? Maybe squeezing of a thigh, pinching of a thigh to adjust behavior.
What's the difference between blanket consent and just consenting to an action? What goes under the blanket?
Well, blanket consent is ongoing. The idea of blanket consent is that a lot of this has been pre-established that you don't have to ask again. While general consent is in the moment, it is in the time, it is when it is being consented to. So when I'm about to play with someone and I haven't done something with it and I don't have blanket consent, I have to ask that question.
So Theo asks, a greeting kink? Did I hear that right? What's a greeting kink? What did you actually say?
I said breeding, but a greeting kink, like you're okay. So like I can cover this really quickly. There are DOMs, masters, tops that require the submissive to greet everyone, so they don't have to. So they're one of their. I don't know if I would necessarily call it a kink,
Protocol.
but it's a protocol. It's a service. The submissive doing a service for the dynamics. So
you know, I can't read the TikTok comments right now. So.
No, I know.
Okay, good.
I know. We're almost done, I promise. And then we're going to get to everyone's comments, and we're going to invite Theo on. So, does anyone have questions about this? Please do ask, because I will make it clearer. If you notice, we have a little cage at the bottom of the decal, and I just realized TikTok is not seeing anything we're talking about right now because they're on TikTok. They can't see it. So I'm going to switch you guys really quickly. Don't worry. I'm not going to get you in the frame because you guys can't see what we're talking about. And I'm sorry about that.
You could give them your very wonderful drawing of the concept.
No. That was horrible.
I don't know. I kind of want to show them.
You can. I did that while I was live. No,
okay,
it doesn't show
they
you.
can barely see that one. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. That was his drawing, his conceptual drawing. I hope that gives you a good representation.
I'm not an artist. I've never claimed to be an artist, despite having artist credits. So there it is. Now you guys can see it on your screen. So yeah, right here in the green, that's our area of already been consented to. That's the green zone. The blanket consent is there for things. Remember, there's a difference between something that is consented. Consent expires outside of play. If you only consented to something for that scene, it expires when the scene is over. So don't ever think it's extended unless it's specifically called blanket consent. One of the things that recently got us in trouble was when I said there is no active and inactive, because that doesn't work in our kink thing. You either have it ongoing or you don't. And that's just consent. And that's part of the consent. If you're not asking for it to be ongoing, it's not ongoing. Like basically a hug. You have ongoing consent for some people for hugs, right?
Yeah.
Even some people who like kiss and give each other germs and spread COVID, they might have ongoing consent. So any questions about that, feel free. Now, I do want to talk about limits because we've avoided that. We're going to get there in 1 second. What's a caged item? This is one of my favorite things I recently created to kind of explain. Do you know what a caged item is?
Me?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it.
Do you know what it is?
I was just saying me.
Sometimes. Yes, sometime. Well, that's a different story for another time. Caged items are actually ideas that a submissive wants to enact at some point. To them, it's a yes later on. It goes a little bit beyond a maybe. But that submissive can get to choose when to unlock it, even including in play. But the dominant may never ask to have it unlocked. The reason for this is, let's say me and you are playing. We got a new toy, but you think this is vicious, and you know you're going to have to be in that right ability to take that thing. It's got thorns. It's barbed wire. It's got a chicken. It's a rubber one. It's crazy. It's crazy. So every time it hits you, it's done quack like that. Like it's crazy.
Sounds scary.
Maybe a little. So you can call out, well, I want to uncage the chicken, and boom. We now have the chicken toy. Now someone's going to make that chicken toy make $1 million, and I'll never get a cent from it. The idea is we let go for free. So that's the basic idea
I
of
didn't hear that.
that. That's the basic idea of what we got going on right there with the caged item. Any questions about caged or locked items?
No, that's a good term. I like it.
Thank you. So you're seeing this. Theo, come on back. We're going to bring you in and we're going to start doing comments. Alice, if you're here, the comment is in our comments and I'll drop it again. M.
Theo, I think you haven't heard that term because he just made it up.
Yeah, recently. Like last week.
Okay, what did you need from me?
Oh, no. I was...
You said M, hopefully.
No, I saw you reading, so I stopped.
Okay.
We're going to go back to our comments section. So I'm going to kind of swing this around.
You should reframe.
Well, I
You
got to
had it all
remove
good
this.
before and then you fucked it up. Can
There we
I say
go.
that on stream?
Yeah, just be a little careful of some of the jokes you might make. All right, so I'm going to pull this over here and then switch it back to me. So we don't put you anywhere near the camera. Okay, there we go. And we're back. Hi,
You
TikTok.
might want to fix your computer framing because you just see your TV in the background.
Only you could see that small little thing. Most people would never even notice what's behind me until the minute you said it.
Except when you're like, oh, there's too much blank space behind me. I can't reframe.
Well, in that moment, I couldn't reframe.
Now
I'm
it's
good.
exactly.
Is that better?
I like to make sure that people have a good view of you.
I thank you. Now you
Wet
get
hair.
this. Me and my wet hair. Like, this is why people think I don't shower. Theo, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, Theo. We're gonna do some questions and comments. But since you're here, we're gonna ask you. Any thoughts? Questions?
Very enlightening.
Okay. I'm just taking a drink. Does anyone have questions? M, where are we starting? I'm gonna pull us back up to the very top.
Somebody says, Birdie says, when should you set these in a dynamic?
So dynamics shouldn't be created by people immediately. I think a lot of people make that huge mistake. Your dynamic, and Theo, we're going to let you introduce yourself right after this question, by the way, because we're being rude by not letting you identify who you are. I would say that you can't be in a dynamic at least for 3 months.
Okay, but that's not the question.
No, but when do you establish it? You're not building a dynamic for 3 months, right? That's my answer.
They
So
said, when should you set these?
that's what I'm 3 months. You can't build a dynamic. Okay, we're all on the same page. You can't build a dynamic till about 3 months in, 90-day, like kind
I
of.
don't think we put time.
Would you create a dynamic with someone in the first week?
It depends. Like, have I just met them, or have they been a long-term friend?
Well, long-term friend, you would know them more than 90 days. I think the
Okay, so
idea
you're
is
saying
to
it's
is
know
the
them.
stat. Yeah, know them. Is this because they're not a stranger if you've known them for like a couple of years? Then yeah, you skip that 90 days. But if you're just playing with someone brand new a week in, yeah, that's a problem.
Oh, you can play with someone. We're not
Building a dynamic at that point is problematic.
Okay,
You don't know.
when should you set these? Is
When you build the
have an
dynamic.
established dynamic. When should you decide?
When you build it. This is
Okay.
part of the building of the dynamic.
Okay.
So you have to wait until you're ready to build a dynamic and then implement this immediately. Immediately implement this. What do you think, Theo? And go ahead and introduce yourself to the audience.
All right, so I'm 62 years old, and I'm a male sub. So a lot of this is, I don't want to say old news, but it rings a bell, right? So rat always comes into play. The dynamic here is, I think, situational, based on if you're going to a play party or if it's a long-term commitment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I love the content you just gave. It's perfect.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Limits was one thing I think we glazed over. So the idea of a limit, by the way, the reason we don't want people putting their boundaries as hard limits. We press limits in this lifestyle. We challenge our limits. It's like going to the gym. What are my limits? How can I surpass my limits? Which is why we don't want to use limits. This is something that when I got into the lifestyle, and I somehow forgot about this for the last decade, because in the last decade, everyone changed hard limit and boundaries and made them interchangeable. And I forgot until recently, until like 2 weeks ago, when someone who I'd went to their class said, the difference between a limit and a boundary is like a building, you can't move it. A limit is like a car. You can put it in neutral and start to move it on your own, or it can be driven by submissive consent and negotiation. The pushing the car, that's when you and your partner are agreeing and still consenting to pushing the limits of pain a person can take. As a submissive, I'm sure you wanted to have your limits pushed. Wouldn't that be right, Theo?
Yes. So that's a key point. If I have limits to a certain kink, I'm agreeing up to a point. But if there's a boundary, that's a hard no. 100% hard no. And push my boundaries, that's my limits. But when you get to that outer rim, that's when it's a no-go. And I think that's important because that helps partners or play partners, whether they're long-term or temporary, understand where the lines are drawn completely and absolutely.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think that's why I made it a circle too. I instinctually made it a circle so there's no corner. You know, you don't want to build corners and it get weird. You want it to be a circular idea of a building. What do you think, Em, as a submissive in the building?
I do like the idea of boundaries being kind of set in stone, and limits being movable. But I would like to hear like a couple more examples of limits, maybe outside of just like pain play, and where somebody might stop on a pain play spectrum at the beginning versus where they would at the end. What's another limit that could be attuned to that?
What do you think, Theo? You sound like you have a couple prepared, ready to go.
Well, okay, so there's a whole lot of examples. I mean, let's say it's something with dealing with play in public, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's multiple ways to do that and accomplish that, whether it's chastity or CBT or a leash, a hidden leash, remote stimulation or remote electricity, whatever. I think you can push the boundaries always, but you still have to look at that. What's my limit? If someone's going to say, you know what, I'm a sub and I'm going to have an orgasm if XYZ happens in public, then that is an absolute boundary. Maybe for them, maybe not.
And we should mention that boundaries you do not ever try to push. You do not try to coerce. I want you to look at boundaries as construction. For a submissive to change a boundary, you're going through a construction period. This is what we call the some people call it porch time. It's a renegotiation moment outside the dynamic, and you have to rebuild part of your boundary. You can extend it out or you can bring it in. I want everyone to be aware of that.
Caffeinated Shenanigans makes a good point, saying pushing limits too fast can cause a sub to lose traction and to pull back to tighter limits.
Yes.
Yes.
In essence, it's the opposite of what you wanted to do.
Yes. On its own, it can contract at any moment. Where a boundary is harder to push back and forth because you use confusing language. You know, I've even seen people going, well, it's a soft boundary. There's no such thing as a soft boundary. No longer is a boundary.
Right. It's always a hard boundary. Even in mid-scene, if something's going on, there's a boundary you need to stop or back off. Whether or not you're the dom or the sub, doesn't matter.
Caffeinated Shenanigans says, that's a good reminder. There are those who think consent, once given, is portable outside the scene, and that's not always the case.
Well, it's never the case unless it's otherwise expressed.
Yeah.
Unless you are saying this is now blanket consent. Again, everything under the blanket. You have to put it under the blanket. What do you got, Theo?
Yeah, there's yeah. Boundaries are not transitional. So they shouldn't shift from here to there, or because this scenario is here or there. It's scenario based. If a person is on a bus and a person is in a room, there's two different situations. We shouldn't meld those two situations together ever. And if you push a limit too far, that just creates a distrust between the two people, and that's not good.
I absolutely agree. I think you're spot on with that. And I'd even go as far as to add that by having limits and saying soft and hard and then mistaking them for boundaries, you're opening yourself up to miscommunications. And that's why we want to take that away from that. If we're going to call something a limit and we're going to talk about pushing limits, everything has to be removed as being a limit if you don't want it to be something that's ever touched. Doesn't mean that if someone says something's a hard limit, you go right there and try to bend it without negotiation. Your hard limit is still a stopping point. Yes, Ann.
So, in your definition, what is the difference between a hard limit and a boundary? Or are we just getting rid of the term hard limit?
No. Hard limit can still work because, as stated here, a hard limit is your stopping point. But unlike a boundary, you could discuss this with your partner, where a boundary you should not really be entertaining outside of a year. Like when you're having the maintenance, the garage time on your dynamic. You know, when you're fixing and playing around. This is not something you should bring up, but you could negotiate, well, I want to use playing language for this limits. So you could say, well, we hit the hard limit. Do you want to push past? Yes, let's do that today. So it wouldn't be considered coercion because the person is made aware of what the limit scale is. So now you can kind of push and play, which is what we do at limits. So I would never put something as a hard limit that you never want done. That's a boundary.
But that's what most of the community does already. Especially on FetLife, you have a hard limit section where you put the things that you don't want to engage in, the things you specifically do not want to find play partners who are into.
Yeah, but if you put that as a hard limit and you'd be willing to one day try it, you've now completely taken it off the table and you might not connect with someone. That's why the limit's not always great. A boundary would work better. That's the argument. The argument is that a hard limit should be, this is something I don't want today. It is a maybe down the road. I'm willing to do it. Versus being a boundary. Boundaries, no, you're not allowed in. That's it. That's the fence. We're done.
I don't know. I just feel like most people use hard limits in that way.
But they've confused it over time. And then what happens is people will say, well, you said it was a soft limit. No, I said it was a hard limit. Miscommunication. So our job is to, especially as educators, is to remove anything that might lead to miscommunication. Would you agree?
Sure.
So it's safeguarding that idea.
Okay. I do think it still can be used if you're explicit about what you're talking about.
Well, I mean, anything is customizable. If it works for you and your dynamic, do that. But I have to look at when I have people go, well, I told him it was a soft limit and we were pushing limits, and then he pushed into my hard limit. It's not setting things up, I think, clear enough in a way that is crystal clear. And I like making a boundary crystal clear. What do you think, Theo?
So here's a classic example. So if I attend, let's say a femdom event, and the requirement is for me to wear a pink jockstrap or a pink G-string or a pink cage, right? I'm okay with that. But if my absolute hard boundary is I don't want to be feminized. That's my hard limit. That's my boundary. So I can get up to that point with wearing panties or wearing pink jock straps or whatever. Maybe even wearing pantyhose, but as long as I'm not broaching that feminization part that is my boundary, there's your example. That's golden between two people or play partners.
Fair enough. And you said, is this the same thing as the counter argument you had for M, or did you have something on a different subject?
No, that was the same. I mean,
okay, just making sure we're covering.
You know, she asked, how far do you take it, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, wearing pink or wearing women's panties or whatever, up to the point where you ask me to do a certain thing. Now that's my boundary. Whatever that thing is, that's your boundary, and it should be respected.
And I would agree, and I would say that M, almost to your question, I think hard limit is the stopping point of the scene, as opposed to a boundary where you shouldn't even be engaging anywhere close, because it's a boundary you shouldn't be. And again,
exactly.
And to everyone's point, there's a moment where a hard limit can easily be confused for a boundary. Yes, because certain plays you're going to have that, where when you get to a hard limit. But I would suggest to everyone as I teach this, then don't make it a hard limit. Make it a boundary. Make the step before that the hard limit, because your limits are scale. That's why we had a scale at the bottom, same as everyone's saying tonight for the most part.
Yeah, we have another comment from Caffeinated Shenanigans. I see hard limits as requiring lots of pre-planning, and soft limits can be shifted on the fly with consent in the scene. What do you think about that?
I would say soft limits, and I want to hear your on this. I think soft limits are basically your partner warning, hey, this is the warning track. You're now going to engage in things where I might be using yellow. Everything before this soft limit would be a green. This is going by our color scale. I'm going to let Theo answer. What do you think, Theo? Are you there with us, Theo? I'm not going far. I have a visual aid. I love visual aids. Oh, okay. Don't you like visual aids?
Oh, sorry.
No, go for it.
I was stuck on mute. Everything should be at least negotiated before play. Even if you're two common partners who know each other. If you're going to engage in play that's not within a core routine, you should at least discuss and negotiate what's going to happen. I go by rack. You should always call your safe word before you get to the limit or that boundary. If it's red, it's red. Oh, yes. Stoplight.
There we go. Visual representation.
Yeah. If you go in between the two zones, that's fine. But communication is always key. Even if you don't have a way to communicate, there should be some sign, whether it's holding on to a peanut or holding on to a weight or a bell, ringing a bell with your hand, whatever. If you can't speak, you need a way to communicate. If you can't do that, it's a no-go. Safety first.
Completely agree.
Yeah, and getting back to the conversation about hard limits versus soft limits, I always kind of saw soft limits, like the way that you said about cage topics.
Yeah.
Where they were not on the table unless the bottom put them on the table, or whichever party put them on the table and said, "I'm okay with this right now." That's kind of how I saw soft limits, rather than something that could be engaged in at any time, but it could spark a yellow or whatever.
Or red.
You don't even.
Well, that should be identified at the time before play.
Yes, exactly. But it just showed the difference between how people think about hard limits, soft limits, and boundaries, and how those should be explicitly discussed with your partner as to what they mean to you individually.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes, exactly.
Oh my God, don't get stuck.
And it matters more that everyone understands what they're doing with their partner. I'm trying to educate. These are my hot takes on this lifestyle that's older than me and will continue to be older than me for the rest of the time, so it's not going anywhere. I've had my suit taken away because it was clearly too distracting. But I see M's point, because we're coming in and we're saying, well, this is better. But remember, that's happened before. That happened with the safe words. That was a moment where people realized this was something we had to do. So we're gonna have an awesome moment now. We have the
I can't resist the costume moment.
there we go.
See, I look great in red. It's my color. Red and yellow.
But just show the different as we go green, yellow, red. You can point.
No, I think I'm good.
The entertainment's over for him. But no, very important, and it's always open communication. And as educators and as we discuss things, we never are making something set in stone. Outside of consent, I don't think many things in this lifestyle are set in stone. And as Em said, discuss it how it is. The problem with limits is when you say soft, you've already made it movable. So I do think, to answer the question, when you establish a soft limit, it's not your stopping point, it's your warning track. You've gone from, if they were still standing here, the model, we would have pointed, they're going from green to yellow. Anything else after soft is a yellow. Would you agree with that?
Yes. So here's an example. I'm a male sub. Anything CBT for me, green light. There comes to a point where there is a boundary if it involves knives or hard edges or fire or other things that can hurt. But nipple clamps, yes. I mean, you set a soft boundary, CBT, okay, that opens up a whole span. So you need to be definitive when you choose a play partner and discuss what's going to happen.
Absolutely. And to your point,
And if it's nipple torture, it's maybe different.
this is true. I mean, nipple torture, there's a difference between nipple clamps and piercing. So
yes,
that's when we're talking a limit and a scale, and we're diving deeper into something. I think the question to really answer what you were asking me, what's the difference between a boundary and a limit? A boundary is the things off the table. A limit is something that could be expanded on, because we say, well, let's do ropes. Does that include suspension, or is suspension now the hard limit in that play? So that category itself has a sliding scale that we can use.
But don't take it from this conversation and put it into practice without letting your partner know.
Oh yeah, no.
Because this is one of those
exactly
where the vernacular is just gonna be different.
Yeah.
Somebody might use boundaries, somebody might use hard limits, somebody might just say a limit, and you have no idea where they fall on that scale.
Plain English matters.
Yes, talk to your partners. Let them know what your definitions of these words are.
Yeah.
Well, again, up front, rack. You need to make sure you negotiate what's going to happen, even if you're established partners. If you don't, there could be a risk. You have to understand what that risk is.
Yeah, and Caffeinated Shenanigans says exactly, soft limits imply malleability. So you need to be thoughtful about what you call a soft limit. But I also want to say, like, today, Mr. Anderson is advocating for, like, hard limits to also be considered something that is a bit more malleable than boundaries. So you might have to be careful about what you put as hard limits too.
Well,
Just have those conversations.
But it's been malleable for years now. Out of the complaints I've gotten from people who come to me and asking me advice after the fact, and they were like, I think even people kind of portray their own hard limits in a way that's not necessarily great for them, because they will say, well, it was something I did want in play and it was kind of my hard limit, but I did want to explore it. I think people put that there. So that's where this idea came to me. Like that should be the end of the scale. So, I wouldn't do it. Communication, as Em is saying, is super important. And as you said, Theo, in the chat, nothing is ever set in stone. Completely agree with you on that. And the only thing that's set in stone is we need consent. If you don't have consent, we're criminals. Don't be a criminal, get consent. That's it. Beyond that,
Exactly.
There's a lot that can be interpreted. And again, I am not a god of BDSM. I am not the god of kink. I am a person who sees things from a neurodivergent brain. Some of the things you might like, some of them you might think I'm nuts for. But, as everyone always says, it's the best intentions, and we're trying to make something that is tricky. Let's be honest, this lifestyle is tricky at times. More understandable, relatable, and explainable. Em is right. As long as you're speaking the same language with the words, you understand what it is, then you're going to be good. You're going to talk to each other and you're going to negotiate. And that's really what all that matters in the end of the day, right?
Yes.
Do we have any questions?
Exactly.
And I'll open this up. And Theo, first time I'm meeting you, if you want to ask me any questions or bring any topic up, so we can do that, because this is, of course, Power Exchange together. Let's be together. Em, any final questions on the topic before we pass off, as everyone puts their questions up?
Nope.
That's it? Have I convinced you?
You've convinced me that it's a valid way to go about things.
That's it. That's all I'm going to put up the winning. Like, if I had confetti, there'd be confetti right now. That's one of a million arguments that I've not even won, but have at least gotten a tie. I got the tie flag on this one.
I wasn't disagreeing to you.
Sure. So what do you think, Theo? You got anything for us?
No, nothing to add. Just the perfect.
Beyond the topic, Power Exchange. Any thoughts? Any topics worth looking at? Maybe a topic for a different day if it's bigger.
No, everything we do is about communication. If we don't communicate, we don't connect. How can meaningful play happen?
Agreed.
Right?
I completely agree with that statement. The other thing with the quick diagram on the screen, and you guys on TikTok have seen the diagram, and I just want to kind of go back in this and again switch over to YouTube, because I think we're within our last about 10 minutes on TikTok. We will stay a little longer on YouTube, so start switching now over as we're answering questions. I remember when we're on YouTube, we can have the more adult conversation. On TikTok, we got to play dumb a little bit. So if you have bigger questions, feel free to bring them over to the next channel. We do have a comment coming in if Em wants to get off their phone and read the comment.
Because I can just see the thing you have.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's on me. We're adding it right now. Here you go.
Okay. Caffeinated Shenanigans says, if you can spark someone to reconsider their viewpoint and reevaluate their position, you're winning. Yeah. Well.
Don't look at me. That was their comment. That was it. Thanks, Caffeinated.
Caffeinated Shenanigans. I like that name, by the way.
Yeah, Theo, I think that it's all, and it sounds like you've had some experience, so I think you'd agree. We kind of evolve as we go. We start off in a place, and we could never guess how far we'll get into it, how will it change. One of the things that I know is that I started off and I felt like I was going to be a submissive, and that just doesn't fit me. And there's nothing against being submissive or being a switch. They're all valid 100%. And we don't have this lifestyle with either one of those. So what do you think, Theo?
I would agree. I mean, 40 years ago, I started out thinking, I was a dom. And I got no pleasure in that whatsoever. My pleasure was of other realms. Let's put it that way. And just like everything else, communication is important. If you do not communicate your desires, your needs, your limits, and your partner, whoever they are, whether it's temporary or long term, they don't understand, or that's the wrong word to use. If they don't respect your limits and you don't respect theirs, then you shouldn't play whatsoever.
Absolutely agree on that. Em, we have anything else that you want to cover from the chat at this moment?
No, I don't think it's anything new.
Okay. This is a program, just as a program note. This is brought to you by Beyond Leather. Beyond Leather is actually changing ownership, and they have just announced it this week. They will have new people in charge. This is basically, we're one of the first groups to be doing this, and I think for now we are the only one that has an online presence with P.E.T Power Exchange Together and in person in a Florida community, and we're pretty excited about this. If you guys want to know more about this, go to Beyond Leather, and they have more information. Maybe you could start this, and we really want to focus on this. And the funny thing is, like, this is almost a training day for me and Em. Em got to ask a lot of questions. We're going to be having this same conversation this weekend in person. And maybe Em will be a little bit more on my side this weekend. Though caffeinated shenanigans might have inspired some rebellion. There might be some rebellion come Sunday. I'll get back to you and tell you later if I have a behaving brat or a misbehaving. But look, the discourse, the back and forth, the debates are important. They're valid. We have to realize that none of us can own this. When I'm teaching this, I am teaching it in a way that I hope all of you are inspired to go back to your own dynamics, work on it in garage time, and really make your dynamic as amazing as it can be for everyone involved, including yourself and your partner. We're not plastic pieces. We are human beings. If anyone has further questions, I really encourage you to join us over on YouTube, because we're going to be on for at least 15 minutes more in an after show kind of format over there on YouTube. And we're going to say goodbye to our audience here on TikTok, because we've had a great conversation with you all, and it's that time. So I'm going to read the end thing. But before I do that, I'm going to throw it to Theo first, then Em, and then I'll read us out of here.
I can't add much. I mean, again, it's the central theme is communication. It doesn't matter what framework you agree upon, you need to agree if you're play partners. So I'll be on YouTube as well.
All right. And Em, Devi, join us over on YouTube. Have a conversation. We have the M-Bot with us today.
Hi.
M-Bot has come back out of summer retirement.
You missed me in a traffic light costume.
Yeah, there was a traffic light costume. Maybe if you guys come over to YouTube, we can get M back in the traffic light costume. Debbie says, "Hey M." So I'm gonna count this down over here. Definitely come over to YouTube, hang out with us. It's easy. Kink Educator. Just go to YouTube, type in same name here. We're definitely going to be doing it. We're going to talk about that. Yes, you've never, Debbie. I was wearing the traffic light costume too. You missed it. All right, so Debbie, hopefully we see you on the other channel. But for now, BDSM is not inherently sexual. It is mental. We communicate, we conversate, we negotiate, and we go in and out about our play profiles, our safety protocols, our risk profiles, our medical history, our aftercare needs. And then with the new acronym, needs, expectations, and want, we build better scenes after using diaper, which gives us, did I ask permission, extensively with representation. When you get 2 thumbs up, we'll do 2 thumbs up today. You guys get to ask for what is informed consent. And then finally, not through gifting, but being earned through communication and negotiation, you are empowered by not just submission, but you're empowered by domination. And you guys can have a wonderful BDSM scene or dynamic. I hope to see you all over on YouTube. For now, we're going to say good night. Thank you all, Kink Educator audience. This has been wonderful. I'm so happy we've got to brought this onto the TikTok platform. We'll see you over on the other channel, hopefully. Bye for now. I should have gone TTFN. I like TTFN. All right, Theo. Theo? I think Theo left us. Theo! Uh-oh. It's just me and M so far. So
this is on YouTube?
this is officially... This is only on YouTube now. There is no more TikTok audience. It is just us and YouTube, and you don't have to worry as much about what you say now.
So I can say fuck, 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 fuck.
You can say fuck, 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 fuck all you want. Come on back, Theo. Yeah, just say it. I thought that went pretty well. Do you think that this will be a good in-person conversation? Because we're going to be doing that in a few days. I'm pretty excited about it. Theo, you can jump back on. We'll let you back on. Theo says, you were a lovely traffic light. Yeah. It's in the private.
Okay.
I thought it went well too, Theo. Thank you for being part of it. We actually made 39 cents for that live. Hey, I'll take it, man. I'll take it. It's like a coupon off on something. And we didn't even have the biggest audience because of our shadow ban. To be honest with you, the whole reason we had this today was M. M had the opportunity to be on the show. We hadn't had M in a while. And we weren't going to do something this Wednesday, but it lined up. We have possible hurricanes, sadly, heading our way. We're hoping not. We're hoping about, but...
a tenth of a Starbucks.
A tenth of a Starbucks, not even. Not even a tenth of a Starbucks down here. Not the Starbucks I get. I get the frilly ones. I get the brown sugar mocha latte, oat milk. Yeah, mine are like $7 a shot. I get the fancy coffee. So overall, do you think this will go well in hurricane, potentially 2? Devi, do you want to come on? Jump on. I'm going to put back the link in the comment. Devi, you come here. Oh, hold on. I can't say the name. They switched names.
Okay.
So I'm gonna be right back. I'm just gonna tell.
What are you doing? Oh, cool.
Yeah. There was a name change because of a potential outing situation. So
Hi.
you know each other. So come on. I dropped the link. Just hit the link. Come on, talk to us. Debbie, how much of this did you see? I'm curious if you like this. I know you've already seen my rant with boundaries and limits, so I know for you, you're read in the graphic. I think we were making this the other day. So go ahead, rip into the graphic. We're off screen now. I know you don't like it. Go ahead. It's comic book. Yes, I'm a comic book creator.
Okay. The difference in the shades of the green and red, like one is super bright and the other is like a little bit bright, and then the nose are super muted.
Well, that was they called for it. The audience asked for that. My nose were originally actually just the same red. Debbie, you have your camera on. Did you want me to bring you on with the camera on? Before I bring anyone on, I always ask that. I don't care, but if you do, that's fine. There's a private chat now that you're here too, if you want to talk through there. Hey, what's going on? I'm assuming it's Sarah's show. We can't hear you, Debbie, until we put you on. Sarah. There we go. Okay, I'm going to add you to stage now that you're camera. I didn't want to put you on with the camera on.
Oh, I appreciate that. Well, now you know what I look like since you have your face everywhere.
Yeah. You know what? It's funny. People actually ask me to hide my face more.
It's terrible. Hey, Em, how are you?
Hi.
Debbie came all this way.
Yeah, she did. Welcome.
Yeah.
You're
Well-
or she, they? What are your pronouns?
I got she, they. Yeah, she, they, she, them.
Good to know.
Thank you for asking.
Promises made.
Okay. Put the graphic like costume on.
There were promises made. If Debbie showed up, there would be a show. I remember. I heard it. It was consent. It was consent.
Red one. Did you punch it out?
No, that's where your arms go, silly.
Oh, okay.
She's trying to put on a rectangular costume and wondering why there's 2 holes in it.
Is that the traffic light costume?
Yep. And
I know. I'm trying to get it out of my pocket.
We just want to make sure that
I'm
she's
going
primed.
for partial anonymity.
Hold on, we're gonna go full screen on this.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
And it does light up. I
How
ripped
does it
off.
light up?
It's in the inside. I gotta look at it because I ripped out the control. There's got to be another switch to toggle it, but there is a.
Does this help it?
No, it's actually making it up.
Oh my God.
One light. There we go.
Where did you even find something like that?
Yeah, where did you find it?
Target.
Why
Right,
is there
Nate?
not another light in there?
I think there is. I just don't know how to work it. Here's the direction if you want to look at it. So it originally had this, but I ripped it off, not realizing.
Well, that was just the try.
Yeah. So there's got to be a switch in there that makes the yellow and the green go.
Yeah, it says remove it.
So this, by the way, is M's first time on camera.
Press your button to change.
Hi, I love the traffic costume definitely suits you.
I know this existed until today when you put it
No,
on.
you did. I showed you. Yeah, that's almost 2 years ago now, believe it or
It
not.
says there's another button somewhere.
It's a good visual prop to use.
Oh, the button is inside. Are you
Yeah,
trying
no,
to
there's
find
no
it?
button. There's an on and off switch, but there's not a button. There's no
We'll have
button
to
on
look
here.
at. We'll have to look at it later. There's got to be a way to switch it. So far, I only see that, but
Not feeling the button. All right, well, I rocked it good enough, so.
You get A for effort.
yeah. I just for some reason thought of it when we were live, and I was like, "This would be fun. Let's have some fun." You know, this is our last potential because I don't think we're doing anything next week with all the storms.
No, it's okay. Sit down.
So,
Yeah, I know. I'm keeping eye because I'm in Florida too, so keeping an eye on that.
I'm hoping they say it's gonna miss, but the last three major ones we're all gonna miss us. And
Yeah.
then fucking head on.
Yeah. I feel like with all like the humidity and like all the pre-storms that we've been getting, that that we might get some action this year. It just feels different, you know.
Oh, there we go. You got it. Come show it off.
She got all the lights.
Putting it back on.
You don't have to put it back on, but come show off what it can do. Where was the switch?
Oh no, let me find it again. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, very cool. And it goes through. Okay. Very cool. Very cool.
I'll pop it out a couple more times when we're talking. Maybe I'll teach an actual video using that.
I think it's a great like visual like representation that's like how can you forget that? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely. I got it just because I was so excited about it and I could teach it. And I never got to teach the red light, green light in public yet. But when I do, I'm going to wind up doing that.
Nice. So no, I literally came right at the end. I know you were asking how much I caught of what you guys were doing today. I literally just got off work like 15, 20 minutes ago. So I caught the end of it. But I did see you were making this the other night on the live. So boundaries versus limits. Items consented to, blanket consent items. So did you like review like what are considered blanket consent items?
Yep. Anything that goes under a blanket is something that you can do, but that doesn't mean that everything is indefinitely you can do. While making it blanket consent, you also discuss where, when, and how it can be applied.
I think you need to come up with a better opener than you can do anything under a blanket because that's that are a little bit different.
You can do anything that's been put under the blanket.
What
Sounds
is
like
Define a blanket.
If it fits under the blanket, it also depends on the size of the blankets.
that's true too. I think you get a bigger blanket to go. How about this? Just spitballing off the top of my head. Blanket consent is the item. It's like this magical item that you can put all the informed consented items that have been pre-negotiated, including how to implement it, under this idea of a blanket that protects it all. Like when you were a kid and you had your blanket you took everywhere. That's the special things that have been consented to.
Okay,
So let me ask you this, because like with my play partner, what we do, we call it like side tabling it, meaning like whatever's on the table is like what we negotiate. We don't deviate from that. But then if there's like some things like that we'll side table it. It's like, okay, like we'll say if we get to that point, and play is to continue, then we can revisit what's on the side table to see if we want to extend play or if we stop. And if there's something that we want to try, then it's like opens up for discussion, but something that we pre-negotiated, but that we haven't like put on like, this is exactly what we're going to do in this playtime. Does that make sense?
Yeah. It's as Theo is saying right now that the blanket doesn't work. There's problems with blanket consent too that I would like to work on. There are other terms. What are the other terms? There's another term that's blanket consent, and there's
like total power exchange.
No, there's another term for ongoing consent. I thought you might know it off the top of your head. It wasn't the most popular one, so I understand a lot of people not knowing it. It was fighting at the same time as actually blanket consent. It was a weird one.
Says agreeable consent?
I've heard agreeable consent. I think it was pre-negotiated consent, PNC.
PNC.
They were trying to push PNC, if I remember correctly. And
I've heard the PNC before.
Blanket consent is a legal term, for those who don't know. It is actually what you sign when you're signing a medical waiver. It is blanket consent. You are giving them anything that would normally happen during a... She's making a funny face. She's trying to make me crack, and I crack easy. You know what this fucking brat's favorite thing to do is... Do you know this favorite? No, I do. I got it. I'll go right back. I will go right back. This brat likes to try to test my heart and see if I'll have a heart attack. Sneaking up behind me. They're like a ninja. They are a ninja. I'll tell you. Pre-negotiated consent, PNC. And there's another one. Blanket winds up being taken over because of the medical field. I understand it, but it's difficult. Even you see me struggling whenever we bring up consent because it's not clean. I like the boundary system I have. See, to me, this is it. But for right now, we have to bring up terms that people know as we get them to sign on.
Yeah, for consistency. Yeah.
I would love to get rid of blanket consent in the diagram eventually and just have it be that. But if we put that in there, because then it's like, well, then we're going to have words like active consent. I hate active consent because anything that's active can go inactive for any reason. It's not necessarily a bad thing with consent, but they also just eliminate. It was like we were talking about the treaties versus the contracts, because if treaties aren't held up, they disintegrate on their own. So there has to be a better term than blanket consent. I fully get that. I fully understand it. But I can't change everything in the same breath. So I use something that is accepted right now. Go ahead.
I'm not saying you change it. Theo's hard limit is scaring, so I just want to put that out there. No more jump scares in this live, please. Jeez,
oh, sorry. I should have done a scare warning. Apologies.
Theo says, for consistency, I understand, but consent is given negotiation up front.
Yeah. No, and there are a lot of terms we're trying to sort through in the last couple of years of TikTok. This is going to be one of them because M's bringing up a point. I struggle to teach blanket consent. I understand it fundamentally, and especially in our dynamic, but I also put it under TPE with us.
Well, it's just so personal. Everything in life is so personal. You just have to talk about it with the person you're going to be doing it with. That should be a given. I mean, we can talk about language all day, but really, you need complete and total understanding between the two partners, and that will always mean defining your terms up front and coming to an agreement on what they need within just whoever's in the dynamic.
And that's why porch time / garage time is so important, because it eliminates ego. It gives you the opportunity to step outside of I'm on the screen. Sorry. It gives us a minute.
Oh, you didn't want to be on the screen?
No, I was just leaving this up to talk about. I didn't realize I left myself on the screen. It gives us this idea to be outside of the moment when we need to be. What do you got?
Yeah.
Well, TPE and blanket consent and discussions to a normal audience aren't TPE. So it's two separate discussions. Yeah, it's two separate discussions for sure. But
yeah, because TPE is basically a lot. It's total power.
Mm-hmm.
You're giving it away, but you should still consent total power exchange.
Mm-hmm.
That's not indefinite. You don't give everything up. That's where we have still the safety protocols. We have the dog clicker. We have all those things to help our partners. Go ahead.
no, I didn't have anything.
No, I meant to.
Well, you're looking at me, so go.
They can't tell who I'm looking at.
Well, I can't.
Yeah, go ahead, Debbie. You were going to say something.
No, it's like I agree with like what Em was saying. It's like, you know, the verbiage that two partners establish, as long as they fully understand what that means, that, you know, because that's the other thing too, is like, you know, what has changed for me, and I can talk to you about this because like I've expressed that before. You know, before I was in TPEs, I was in like a dynamic where I just had like my dom just like kind of take care of everything. That was just like how we had negotiated. It was, you know, within the realms of everything, but that was like how we performed and all of that. So this is the first time here, like where I'm just like by myself, like negotiating these things. So I was like super nervous at first. But I will say like now that I've had different play partners, you know, asking the questions, like, I don't, you know, at first I was so nervous, and now it's like, if I don't understand something, you know, I just like, just explain to me what you mean, because like, this is what I understand and this is what I would like. Does that fit in with what you're saying, kind of thing? And as long as you're getting like some kind of establishment that there's an agreement of what it means, like two things could be called the same thing, but if it's not fully understood, it could end up with two different outcomes, if that makes sense too.
Oh, 100%. And look, a lot of this we're inheriting. So we've come along and we've inherited this lifestyle. And all we can do is add what we can to make things more teachable. But once it's in your hands, guys, do what you need to do. Communicate with your partner and have those conversations.
As the comment says on screen, Theo says, I think your example of blanket consent applies to more TPE than what you were trying to share with the general enthusiasts.
It's because honestly, I've been told blanket consent is 10 things. I don't think even I've had a great explanation of what blanket is. Em, would you like to try to, because you're more new age, you've listened to more people in the last decade than I have 30 years of hearing, 20 years of hearing the term blanket consent. And I remember when it first started, people were talking about like different consent acronyms and all this other stuff because SSC was trying to be replaced even 20 years ago. That's where prick rack comes up in the 90s even.
The way I see blanket consent is consenting to an action ongoing, but trusting your partner to know your own boundaries within that. So like if punishments are on the table all the time, your dominant still might choose not to punish you in the moment because he feels like, or they feel like you aren't in the headspace for that, or you're not in the right physical location for that. But it's still consented to, and if there is like a mistake made, you just talk about it, and it wasn't outside of consent, it was just done in the wrong moment. You know what I mean?
Well, you just got to perfect define that as M said it, and it's just the letter M, believe it or not, just like McDonald's, but no no golden arches, just awesomeness.
I mean, it makes the same sound, so I don't really care.
But I agree with M, but it's also the problem I hear is if I teach it that way, we're leaving ambiguity, and ambiguity as an educator becomes problematic. And we've even me and Debbie have talked about, like, when we teach something, it is one of those moments where you want to get rid of ambiguity, but let it live in someone's dynamic. You know, I give you the centrist view, and then tag it, build your own on your own time. You know, like I'll
like like building blocks,
or like building a home. Like if I was a home builder, I would build you the home. Here's your home. Now you go inside and decorate it. That's exactly. So when I'm teaching, I'm always trying to be mindful of the guy who's going to listen to it wrong, the gal who's going to misunderstand it, the non-binary who's going to hear the part I didn't want them to hear. Like when I'm explaining Blanket consent, the very first words out of my mouth. Anything under the blanket, go for it.
But I feel like what you're calling ambiguity is just a good conversation to have.
Oh, I
Because
agree.
there are times where, like, the dominant is going to make a mistake in that the submissive doesn't feel like that was the right time for that action. And having conversations being like, this was consented to, but this was not something that I felt great about in the moment. That's a conversation to have. And we shouldn't dismiss that as a term because of its ambiguity. We should just talk about it in all its facets.
But again, I'm teaching from a centric's point of view.
Okay.
So I have to, for an example, think about right now in your head, everybody, think about the one person you know in the lifestyle who always seems to get it wrong and you think that they're really trying to get away with shit. That's the person watching my show. And I have to follow that person watching and then using it against me. Hell, I told someone one time that I would vouch for them to go to one class, and they went to everyone and said, "Oh no," he said, "I'm good. You can call him."
But
I
how
have
much
to
are
worry
you
about that.
educating if you're tiptoeing that much?
I don't tiptoe often about a lot. I just make too much conversation about it. I put it into a like concrete where this is the big definition, and then you guys should take it and figure out what it means to you. I completely agree with that.
Well, let me ask you this: how do you feel about using like it as like an umbrella?
I hate umbrella terms.
I know I hate umbrella too, but you know, it's when we're talking about like I can't say the word ambiguity. I can't say that word.
Yeah, you're the right word for not being able to talk.
But you know, kind of like where it's the umbrella, it's like, okay, and I know you don't like the word nuances either, but it's kind
nuance outside of consent is fine. Only consent do I not like nuance.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, blanket consent is already, it's talking about umbrellas, right? Everything under this
umbrella consent. That was it. Umbrella consent.
Oh, so it's literally is called umbrella consent.
Yes, someone came up with the term umbrella consent. I'm sorry, rude. Go.
No, I was just saying it's one of those things. Yes, everybody's gonna have different definitions, but you can teach it your way. And
well, in your dynamic, to bring up M's point and maybe move a little closer because I think that
they can't hear me.
Yeah, I don't think so because
Okay.
we're gonna come a little closer to the mic because now we're not on TikTok too. So
You're gonna mess up the background.
no, we're fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I can move this to go where I need it to. But to your point, and I completely agree with you, 100%. You have to do the work on your own. You have to. You have to have the. I'm not in your dynamic, people. I'm a guy on a TikTok or YouTube screen giving you the best advice I can. The things that we apply to our personal dynamics are always going to be slightly changed, if not totally revamped. The perfect example, without giving anyone a bad idea, we could say you really shouldn't do duck play. Okay. You want to do duck play. You go and do duck play. I tell you not to do duck play because I don't want you to get web feet.
Comrade says umbrella don't cover it all. I don't think it's always meant to cover it all.
No.
The umbrella has a word on it, and that word is a type of play or whatever, and that's what it covers. And it has stipulations, sure, but it's just meant to be encompassing a little bit more than everything out.
Yes, and an umbrella term, like as a metaphor to look at it in your mind. Think of like when we put up our umbrella, everything around us is kinks. The rain is kinks. It's all the different kinks, right? What we're storing on the umbrella and what we're protecting, those are the things we're focusing on in our dynamics. We're consenting to whatever the BDSM being an umbrella term. That's just the idea, I think, if I'm getting it right, and how I use the umbrella. Because there are certain things that work as an umbrella term. The reason I don't like this particular thing as an umbrella term is everyone tries to throw CNC under the umbrella.
I was actually going to bring that up. It's like, you know, you got to be careful with what you do actually contribute, like the umbrella term to CNC being the major one, only because that has kind of revamped and that has been kind of, I don't want to say rebranded, but repurposed in a sense.
I think rebranded would be a good way to put it too, because I mean, it walked very far away from the original.
Yeah, I never knew it as an original. I learned it online, and that's the definition I've always kind of held for it.
For those who don't know, because we're actually here on YouTube, I can actually say this out loud. I couldn't say this normally. Back in the day, CNC would mean that you basically had no more say in anything.
Mm-hmm.
Consenting to everything, non-consensual. So if someone knew you were afraid of spiders, this is a true story, they would throw spiders on you. And you can imagine what happened. People got bit by tarantulas and had to go to the emergency room. People freaked out, and it became a trigger that was lifelong. I did not like CNC. Actually, everyone can thank M, because when the CNC thing broke out a year ago, and I brought it to M, M said that if you don't like fucking CNC, why are you defending its original definition? Why don't you just go with the updated and teach that and get rid of what you hate? So
that like modernizing it, yeah.
I don't know. I feel like it's used so often online in a completely different way than it used to be used, that
Mm-hmm.
hard to stick to that old definition with so many new people being introduced with a new definition.
I don't think M believes that I was in kink before she met me. A lot of times they're like, "Are you sure that really happened? Are you sure?" We went to a literal a museum exhibit. I think it was the Sex Museum,
Yeah,
and it was also at that other place in Tampa. Remember, they had the goth room.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they saw literally a thing about a slave auction, and they were like, "Oh my God, did you ever get to go to one of those?" I was like, "Yeah." What happened? Like suddenly, I might have actually been around.
Yeah.
M's the generation that thinks kink started with them.
No.
I would love to hear a conversation with her and Sage, because they just are so like, and I give like the younger, because I'm 42. I don't know how old M is, but like Sage, I know she just turned, I think she said she just turned 20 or 21. I tell you, I did not speak like that or have like that kind of like concept around me, or that kind of self-awareness, I guess, like at that age. So there's definitely with the newer generation that they've definitely got their shit together more for sure.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Ask them a question about history.
Well, sure. Okay. I'm gonna use the umbrella effect here. Is like, I just remember, because I was like in my early 20s when I first was introduced to the scene, to the kink scene and all that. So I just remember just being like way in over my head and just like, this is crazy, and just like not being sure of a lot of things, and just be like, this is not normal. Like, this is like really, like, I have to question myself. And a lot of the younger people now, like, and maybe it's because it's all online, it's more easier to find information. Before, like, I had to rely on other people's information, like passed down knowledge, I guess, in a sense.
The tribal history.
Yeah.
Exactly. I knew I was going to be into this before I turned 18 and started doing my research, quotation marks. I started getting into stuff like that early. And although I didn't encroach on any adult spaces, I would watch things like YouTube videos and podcast episodes and just try to immerse myself in it so that I would be ready when I did turn 18. And so when I did, I immediately got on P.E.T and started going to events. And I'm happy I did it that way, because I really came in with a decent amount of knowledge. I mean, not experience, but knowledge, which is important for newcomers, to come in with just a basic understanding of what's happening around them in the community.
What's a DM? No. What did you think a DM was? Because there's an important question here, and it's not guilting you, because it's not your fault. This really is not your fault.
Yes. Well,
I
saw the memes online that was like, when somebody calls himself a dungeon master and you can't tell if they're a D&D player or into kink stuff. And so I just assumed it was dungeon master.
Our oral history and our oral teaching, it is important. When you're going to events and someone's actually going to the effort in a good, supportive community where there is allowed back and forth, you will find problematic things in the way that you have learned on the internet. And it's not even like I just read that book. I just read a book and I figured out where they got all the bad information. And it goes right back to 50 Shades of Grey.
Mm.
You can draw the Venn diagram to 50 Shades of Grey. And I saw it and I was like, now it makes sense. Because there are people who are apologists for 50 Shades of Grey and swear it has great information. This is a chick who wrote Twilight, sprinkled BDSM on a story, one book, 1.5, and then lost it in the later books, and it became about a bank robbery of some. I don't know. I don't
think it's meant to be educational though. It's meant to be for like.
It's like smut.
Yes, exactly, smut. You don't have to have your smut be perfectly accurate or even close to accurate in real life kink.
I agree with you. The problem is that then Hollywood, not Hollywood, and people who are canillas, the people between vanilla and kinky. The canillas thought it was a Bible for BDSM, and this is what it was, and misinformation. So, do I blame the creator? No, I understand it. They just made a dumb book. I only blame the creator when they talk about how much research they did. They went to a freaking Yahoo group and basically took like Leather 101. But it is that time for me. I've got to feed a brat. They've done a good job, and they need to walk. I have to walk my brat. Walk your brat, lady. Walk your brats before they rip up your room.
Or do more jump scares on you.
I appreciate everyone's time, Debbie. As always, thank you for coming in here. Theo, awesome having you as a guest. I really appreciate you jumping on. I don't know when we'll be back because of the storms potentially hitting Florida. I'm not making any plans next week because that's when we could be most affected. I wish everyone in the Florida area and anywhere that these storms potentially head over the next few months a great deal of luck, and hopefully we get through this not banged up too bad. Last couple of years have made it scary. Please listen to all the people who are telling you to evacuate if necessary. Listen to the news. I know they get it wrong. I know. I get it, but we need to be safe now. Storms aren't your mom's and dad's storms. These are fucking serious, man. You do that, and that's it. Welcoming M back. I gotta get her some chocolate. Lady Letty is gonna be so mad when they find out they missed you.
She is.
Letty had been asking for you recently. I told Lady Letty not to miss this one.
Tell her all about the traffic light situation.
She will laugh at that.
It's recorded forever.
Great.
I'm going to snapshot these things and show everyone in the community what you did. Thank you, Debbie, and we're out of here.
Bye, guys. Bye, Em. Nice chatting with you.
There we go. Thank you all. We'll see you soon at the next one.
Bye.